I guess it's me. Yep, it is. I'm feeling very well. What else is news? I don't feel well a lot. Just anxious, nauseous, uncomfortable. Anyway, so I guess I would do this life context thing again because, there's these people that keep drifting off philosophically. They keep changing the conversation in a sense, never rooting it where you have to root a conversation about what we are. Philosophically, there's just no way to escape evolution. There just isn't. We evolved here on Earth. That's where it happened. Now, if you want to argue about where the first cell came from, well, who cares? I mean, really. We know we've been here. Our ancestors, our genetic code has been wandering about for hundreds of millions of years. And we can clearly dissect the function of a consciousness. We can understand the mechanics of it. That part of it generates this desire mechanism, this need, this want, fear kind of mechanism, the feed, flight, fight, fuck thing. And, the other part of this brain was designed to strategize, scheme solutions. I need food. How do I get it without getting killed? How do I gain my credibility, sustain my existence even, sustain my welfare, my comfort? And as we did that, these Homo sapien things, whatever, 50,000 years ago or so, they started developing some sort of language skill. They could communicate words to each other, concepts to each other vaguely, but usably, functionally. And so was born a different kind of animal, in the sense that we could escape the boundaries of a crude nature, a nature that is consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction. It's brutal, harsh, nasty bits all over the place. And we could become something more elegant in terms of the way we live. Now, even though we're still horrifically emotional, we're still the same biological animal of 100,000 years ago. We're able to temper that biology. We're able to inform it with our knowledge and our understanding. We can tell our emotions. We can develop new context. So when we see something scary, we can make it go away, literally. Really, quite functionally. And when we want, we can understand that we don't have to have right now. We can have 6 hours from now. So we can put off getting. We can put off, we can understand conflict, and we can understand the futility of it and the price you pay for it. So we can find it aversive and something to avoid. Even though we'll feel it, we'll disengage those feelings, and the intelligent part of the brain will create images of how much better life will be if you don't have a broken nose. And you'll realize that maybe I don't need to fight this time. Maybe this drunken whore isn't worth the herpes I'm going to get. We'll get images in our head that will scare us out of bad behavior and tend us towards good behavior, in the sense that we'll want to be praised for being a good person or a nice person. We'll want other people to care about us and send us things in the mail or whatever the thing is that works for you. Every now and then, anyway, to cheer us up. It's worth a try. It's hard to do, but anyway. There's this context that we can. I keep using the word, but it's a really important word, context. And the context of us is a biological context. We were mosquito larvae in the background, right? Should be anyway. Got to do something with the film since I took it. Not very impressive, but it'll give you something to watch while I'm talking. Little wigglies. but that's what their life is. I mean, it is a wonderful example of life and the disposability of it all. You know, these huge numbers of mosquitoes produced, and the huge attrition rates. You know, they're gobbling up little bits, and they're getting gobbled up. And it just illustrates just how insidious the machinery of the DNA molecule is. Now it's raining a little. I don't think it's going to add up to much, though. Oh, damn it. I need to feel better than this. I've been saying that for 40 years. But I really got to find some kind of cure. Because I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of feeling sick. Anyway, enough of that. It's not the subject of the video. Mostly not. But that is our psychology. That is the blight of our existence. It's the fact that we do have this brain that creates this stuff, this personal stuff, this personal feeling welfare stuff. I'm healthy, I'm unhealthy, I'm well, I'm unwell, I'm stressed, I'm not stressed. You know, all this emotional stuff. I need, I want, I don't feel good about myself, I'm depressed, all this crap that we get flowing through us. That is such a distraction if you want to be philosophical in the way you lived. The philosopher would like the freedom, the free reign to decide what the maximum use of my day would be, how to be the most functional I could be. And certainly intelligence can understand all these bigger ideas, like the fact that my welfare isn't any more important than if there was a Gary 2, if I had a twin brother, or triplets even, all three of us were walking here, maybe you would get the idea that if you couldn't tell us apart visually, you would have a dilemma. Yeah, you'd just say, well, which one, if I have to shoot one, one am I going to shoot? Which Gary is the better Gary? And the truth is, even though we aren't identical twins, me and you, whoever you are, we have enough in common. We don't have to pretend that we're not related, that we're not substantively very much alike, even if we don't speak the same language, and even if we're not the same sex. And even though there could be lots of differences between us, those differences are not meaningful. They're not significant to any of these issues of what our agenda in the world should be. Our agenda in the world is, if one person can be made, if one class of people, what type of people can be made happy by snapping fingers, and another class requires, 500 hours of labor and all kinds of work, and they need to be pampered, and they need $70,000 a week in expense accounts and all kinds of other bullshit. Well, clearly, you'd say, you're getting the same thing in the end. Maybe. I don't even know if you're getting the same thing, because, some people who are just real easy to please are also very good workers, so they please other people so much better. And some of these high maintenance people are incredibly low productivity people. Not only do they consume a lot, but they produce nothing, which is really obscene. But anyway, so you get into this, like I said, philosophically, this is what the conversation is about. How ought we live? What is the best solution to these dilemmas of our feeling condition? And is our feeling condition our personal feeling condition, or is it the communal, the all feeling condition? And I think philosophically there's no argument, there's just no rational argument in defense of selfishness. I mean, unless you're going to say you're somehow better by some real standard, you've got nothing. You've got no excuse for not at least acknowledging that the agenda has got to be sentience in the world, not sentience in your world. Not what's inside of you, but what's living in the world. what is alive and conscious. That's your business. Your business isn't this thing yelling in your ear, this squeaky wheel of your personal psychology. The business is the entire game. And so that's another thing the mosquito larvae sort of illustrate, because I'm sure they have little nuanced differences between them. One has one more hair than the other. One has a bigger whatever anus mouth / blower. But there's no point, and we wouldn't be silly enough to think it mattered, those little trivial differences. If one was to get squished, one was to be pampered and put in a comfy chair, that kind of erroneous, irrelevant stuff wouldn't matter. We'd find the one who needs the comfy chair the most, the one that can benefit the most from it, to extract the most value to their conscious welfare, conscious state. And so these mechanics are the overriding context. All this spirituality crap and oneness and feeling it isn't the same as doing it. It isn't. It's such a cheat of what it really should mean. It's like people talk about all this love crap, but they love very selectively and narrowly. A very narrow confinement to how they distribute their concern and how they value people in that manner of loving. And that makes it sort of that's the uselessness of it. It's just a pure bigotry based on, family dynamics, nepotism, who you grew up with, who had the opportunity to become your friend, the opportunity to bond. And we know that these opportunities aren't produced by any good reason. We know we don't grow up in any location for any good reason. So there's no reason to think the person walking down the street, and you go visit another country, that person could have been your best friend if you would have grown up there. He would have been. There's a very valuable person walking right by you right now. Could have been your best friend if he was your neighbor when you were 5 years old. I mean, it's all these superficial, idiotic circumstances defining how we define ourselves. And all those definitions are just rubbish. I mean, just gross, obvious nonsense. No rational integrity whatsoever. And so if you're going to talk philosophy or spirituality or any kind of mumbo-jumbo about the beauty of the human being and all this other crap, do that glorification within this context. Understand that you've got to glorify it all, and you've got to appreciate the real mechanism, which is there is no glory in squander. There is no glory in inefficiency. There is no glory in waste. And if you're maximizing waste, if you're consuming far more than you're producing in terms of the welfares you've disposed of, how many creatures, including humans, and through all your interactions and all your commerce, how many do you, by implication, pet, and how many do you punch? How many do you, torment and torture? And how many do you comfort? That's the real dynamic of existence, and maximizing that is the only agenda for a philosopher. The only systems we need, whether it be democracy or science or productivity systems, any kind of politics you want to develop, all of it should have only one mission, to maximize this game and minimize the lame losses, to get rid of to increase the productivity of our action in the world, our our interaction more precisely, make it possible for us to get the most out of ourselves, and at the same time, incidentally, as a byproduct, do the most for ourselves. That's the irony. If everybody's busy working on the game everyone's playing, you're part of the everyone, and you'll end up with a better game in the long run. But that's another key point to this thing. So it's always this long run, big picture for everyone, not just you. And everybody just wants to measure all value based on what's in it for them. And that's the definition of failure and such. So I'm here at work, but I really just want to saw my head off. I don't like it here. The garage door just closed. How convenient. Yes. Yeah, rain. Yeah, I don't like it much. Anyway, wasn't supposed to be here yet. See, look, it's kind of pleasant over there. So yeah, it's kind of annoying. Anyway, add on, right? Why not? I'll add something on. Context, life, bugs, cruddy, ew, disgusting, spiders. Let me just go through the whole insectoid world. And what evolved out of that? What's the crowning achievement? Butterfly? They start off as caterpillars, which are, pretty gross. Chomp chomp. Grazing monsters. Just a, Jabba the Hutt look-alike. It's all pretty horrific nature. Grotesque, disgusting. Ew. Ew. There, that's the context. Let's just deal with the reality. That's what gave birth to us. It's all, there's lots of skanky bits. Lots of skanky bits. I'm talking like a Britisher now. These fucking British people are really ruining YouTube. Oh, what the fuck? It's like dogs. I guess they're deers, though. Yeah, I can't see shit anymore. Look at me, they're just looking at me. Yes, I'm in the rain too. I am. Yes. Come on, run and show your white fluffy tails and such. Be afraid of me. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Yes. I have to bark like a dog. The stench of human should, put the feariness in them. But they don't know. See, that's the game. They don't know what we're up to. They don't know what I represent. They probably have some innate instinct that's been developing over the years. So they have some innate, probably, this isn't something to eat. You don't hang out with the humans because they're likely to hurt you. But they don't even know the hurt part. They just probably have some ambiguous, I don't know about that. You would think our smell would be obnoxious to them. Because obviously evolutionarily, the deers that found us obnoxious would survive. But that's sort of the catch now, though. Because there's only a small percentage of the human race that does the eradicating of the deer. And most people, essentially provide a nice lawn for them to feed in. Nice, safe zones for them to live in. So in a way, there's a mixed message from evolution. One message, human bad. Other message, lots of environments, lots of places to exploit near the humans. Good grazing. So anyway, this is probably this video probably doesn't need to be made. Is that on? Maybe I'll cut it here, just as we're heading for the crunchy bits where the leaves are. So I'm at a disadvantage, my path being washed out, well, not washed out, ruined by trees, is that I have to walk through places that haven't been worn down, and so there's lots of noisy stuff under my feet. This leaf-like debris, yeah, instead of a nice path. Anyway, another pointless complaint, probably pointless. Yeah, so you can sort of almost see my path. This is one of them. And I usually go over there too. We'll use this one today. It's almost getting worn down. Anyway, enough of this crap already. Long day. They all seem like long days. I don't seem to get as much out of them as I used to. So they seem long, but they don't seem productive. They're not yielding any good stuff. Alright, anyway, so you didn't really need this part of the video. You might not need the first half of the video. Oh, tender. Anyway, yeah, till next time. I really don't think it's going to do much. The sun's right over there still. Can't be up there. That's too high. Yeah, it's really... It looks like it's right up there, don't it? It sure does. But it's got to be somewhere over there. It's just bouncing out through there, sneaking out to that crack in the clouds. But, yeah, it's got to be much lower. Yeah, got to be. So I go around here and then down here and then through here. And all this stuff I'm going to have to cut once the leaves get on there. It'll be a problem. But look, it's getting green. Green, green, green. All in a couple of days. Went from brown to green. Yeah. Really nice weather. It's going to suck. 25 degrees colder tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big hit. Yuck. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. So till it be the next time and such.